Hi guys. So today it's going to be an overview of the movie called Mulan, the 2019. I have a lot of facts on my phone that I've been doing. I've been kind of like doing a positive and cons of this movie, and to me, there are some things that did miss in the movie, while other stuff didn't quite gone so perfect. Just knowing that, always remember that this movie was based upon the poem of Mulan, and we see that a lot in this movie, to where it's not going to be just like the Disney part of it, and so most of my positives are like, during the movie, we all know that Mulan was treated differently, like she was not like other girls. So we all know that she was different in the Disney one, because we all see in where she always makes mistakes and doesn't know how to be delicate or graceful as like every other woman. So that kind of like brought in a new image to Mulan. And the characters like the witch and the phoenix and all the stuff was switched around. Did brought some new ways of seeing Mulan, but also it did kind of impact it to where it did kind of make confusing moments into the movie. Like, there's some parts of it that I did understand, some parts I didn't understand, and I kind of watched it more than once to kind of understand. So yeah, the witch of the movie could be also be a negative and also a positive thing in the movie, because honestly, if you watch the movie, if you kind of understand it to where that the witch kind of was like a challenge to Mulan, because of the way the witch was actually treated the same way that Mulan was treated, where she was treated different, outcasted. And one day or another, Mulan was going to be outcast and stuff. And so, honestly, to me, the witch kind of like showed a new way of Mulan, like a challenge in knowing what was right and what was wrong, of showing what I should do in my life. So yes, so I kind of like that. And there was another scene I really liked, was like the whole matchmaking scene. It was kind of like it was perfect, to where it showed us how, like in the movie it just showed the matchmaker Mulan, but I think it was more like, I liked it how the mom from another village was there with Mulan and her sister and her mother, and having shown how graceful Mulan was and everything. I think it was beautiful. I think it was amazingly and funny a little bit too. So yeah. When we saw Mulan, we all know that Mulan and her dad had a really positive, to where they understand one another. And I loved it how they made the relationship stronger in this movie about her and her dad, because they kind of are the same, and they see from eye to eye, but sometimes it kind of hurt him to keep her hidden from the world and keep her hidden from expressing herself. And I loved how he just knew about his mistake and knowing what to do, and I really love that. And so the positive with Mulan and her dad, I really like that. I loved how they wrote the loyal, brave, and true on the actual sword, because when we see it, that Mulan was she was kind of like fighting the truth away from herself and denying herself. And I think that brought to where we needed to know that, because in the legend of Mulan was about how she hid her life, and then she had to show her true self and knowing that. And I think it was a perfect way of showing about it. Let's see what else. Also, when we see there was some really good scenes in Mulan that I really liked. I'm not gonna lie, like there was a lot of like funny scenes, and there was a lot of like scenes that should have been in there and some scenes that should not have been in there. And so yeah. I liked the one scene where there was more than one scene I liked, but the one scene was where how Mulan, every morning she would have to hide herself, where she would take off this continuing robe, and she had to put it back on every single day, because that kind of showed that she was hiding something. And also she had to and hide, and I like that how it showed us to where she was had to hide and had to disguise herself as a male and everything. I like that. So yeah. Also, so the cons. I already talked about how the characters did brought some confusion in there, because the witch, we did not know there was a witch and actually in Disney of Mulan, because it never was. And also Mulan's sister. Technically, we did not think she had a sister, so it kind of like made it confusing, but I think how Disney put it was where she was more like a comic relief, if you think about it, to where there was a scene about a spider, there was some scenes where we kind of, like, to me, I think it made a good balance. There was missing, like, characters, like the grandmother that should have been in there, because to me, the grandmother was actually a wisest person in the Mulan, to where she knew that her granddaughter, what she was and how she loved her, and knowing that she had a free spirit, just like Mulan, and I think she would have brought more character in it. And Mushu, coarsely Mushu, what should have been in there, but to me, I somehow, just most importantly, that we need to understand that this was going to be a hard movie to make. When I first watched it, I knew parts of it was hard and parts of it was easy, but just knowing all of it, I think this one's going to be really hard. A really hard movie to decide on, and knowing like what people would think of it and what people won't think of it, and also knowing that it was rushed. I kind of see that it was really rushed in making Mulan, because they had other movies that they need to prepare, but I think they should have brought time to this movie to make it successful and everything. Instead, there's a lot of like sarcastic things I'm talking about it, to where I believe they should have like mixed with the poem and also the Disney movie of Mulan and put it together. But honestly, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was not bad, but it was just of a too serious movie to be a Disney. It was just too serious, and it was just rushed, and it was not thought out properly. That would have been, but all I have to say is that we have to have an open mind, and we have to have an open like curiosity about how these movies will be, and just know that just take out the Disney part of Mulan and make it into an actual live action where it would be serious. But I will still watch this movie, no doubt, and I think you guys should watch it too and express what you've seen. So I want you guys to put down your comments down on the below, and what scene or what you think was perfect in Mulan, or whatever you thought about Mulan was, because I want to hear you guys' opinion too. So I'm hoping you have a lovely day. I hope you see my other videos. So have a nice day. So bye.